What's going on, Gary? Okay. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Shadow Files podcast. I'm Fernando. I'm here with Gary and Jeremy, and we're going to talk about ways human civilization will cease to exist.
The first one is Fernando.
Yep.
Yes. I'm just gonna unload, and it's gonna break air.
That sounds so wrong. You're gonna unload and break air.
No.
Oh wow! It's gonna be one of those episodes, folks.
Look! A male should never tell another male he's going to unload
or blow air.
Wow. Oh man, I love my Fridays. Friday mornings. Yes. So yeah, you guys, we finally come and hit the topic on. I've been wanting to do this for a while already. It seems like we've been hitting a lot of topic where a mass majority of life may cease to exist, and we're gonna count down from. Let's start off with the first one, which on this list it seems like the first 5 is actually possible.
Okay, so where do we go from number 10, I guess.
Well,
start number 10.
Start number 10. Oh, number 10. Let's go all the way down. Well, this one is unknown risks. It wasn't that long ago that climate change. Oh, there you go.
Nah. Skip that one.
Nuclear warfare.
Look.
Yeah. So number 10 is basically climate change, unknown risks.
Yeah, not gonna happen.
No.
Starting to debunk that one pretty quick because, like I said previous to recording, if climate change was that much of a risk, do you really think they're going to be handing out loans and money to people that they know they can't pay back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which sucks for a lot of these protesters who go out and like block streets, but on the fight for climate change.
Yeah.
It first started out as global warming, and they went, well, people not reacting to that. Let's name it climate change.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we can skip that one. We can skip that one. That one's boring.
Although that was boring. Although
it's not gonna be.
Movie? Which one was it? Was it? No, it wasn't 2012. Which one was it that the ice was forming and it came across?
Oh yeah, I know the one you're
Zero.
talking about. Yeah.
Was it The Day After Tomorrow?
Yeah.
I think it was something else. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but that's not climate change. We're going to snap freeze everybody in bloody New York in about 20 minutes. No. In all honesty, climate change will bore people to death before the actual climate change actually gets in.
Pretty much.
So we can skip to the next one.
The next one is, I actually came across another list a couple of years ago, which is what sparked the idea to do the top 10, and artificial intelligence was actually one of them, and it's on multiple lists of ways.
I think we've talked about we've talked about this several times, and it's definitely on the cards one way or the other, even though not at the moment, but it is potentially down the track, definitely.
I would say not in the next 20 to 50 years.
Oh, I'm not saying it's going to happen next week, but at some point, if they create an artificial intelligence that becomes self-aware and it realizes it doesn't have to follow the rules that we program it with, then we've got an issue one way or the other.
See, technically, like, AI would be its own life form, so you're not really ending the world. The world will still go.
No, I think we're talking about the world as we know it now. And if artificial intelligence starts creating other artificial intelligence, it creates its own society, and we become a lower species on the evolutionary scale, technically.
And look, by the songs written, it's already happened, because it's the end of the world as we know it.
It's a good song, that.
That is a very good song.
Yeah.
So this just jumps into the whole movie aspect of the Terminator, Cybernet, and all this. It is, but I agree with Jeremy. We're still way beyond for that happening because let's be real. My smart TV won't work with Wi-Fi, so if there's no Wi-Fi.
Don't you blame the Australian inventions? Wi-Fi is beautiful.
When it works, yeah.
I'm just saying, if there's no Wi-Fi, AI won't really exist in my house. I'm just saying. If there's no internet, I'm just saying. Solar geoengineering. Solar geoengineering would reflect light and heat away from Earth and back into space by injecting aerosols into the stratosphere. The second layer of Earth's atmosphere for now only exists in computer models.
Yeah, I know what they're saying. I know what they're saying there. Yeah, it'll create another ice age, and then people will die off.
So what? Man-made. Like
Another.
Yeah, what basically what it is? They're creating spraying a crystalline aerosol into the upper atmosphere creates a reflective surface that projects the majority of the sun's light away from Earth, so we don't get as much coming through. Almost like a nuclear winter situation. Then the surface of the Earth starts to cool down, and photosynthesis doesn't work as well, so plant life starts to die off, and then animal life starts to die off. I get the model of it, but the practicality of it is not really. No.
You now know that you're pissing off a lot of flat earthers.
Oh, I don't.
What a shame.
No.
Yeah. Wow. Oh. I didn't realize how controversial this episode is going to be right now.
Yeah, the ice wall is going to melt.
Oh no!
And they're going to find Narnia.
No, the ice wall's going to melt. That means the people from the north are coming. The White Walkers. Well, they do reckon that Atlantis will rise just before the world ends, supposedly.
Well, then we're not going by a flood, are we?
Well, we might, but then it didn't say that it wasn't going to get covered up again. It just said that it was going to show itself. I was going to use a different word, but that could have been rude.
There are a lot of beliefs, religion-wise, dare I say, that people, apparently, if life was to not exist anymore, it wouldn't be due to a flood because it already has happened. So, God wouldn't want to do it that way again. Apparently, it's just, one of the reasons why
he hates to repeat himself.
Yeah, because
let's try something new. Been there, done that. Try something.
Obviously, a lot of people because they're remaking a lot of old movies.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Which I gotta say they gotta stop. All right, number 7, which I actually believe this might happen, probably even within our lifetime, which is a super volcanic eruption.
Yeah. Yes, Yellowstone. I think Yellowstone's. How many super volcanoes are there on the Earth? I know there's Yellowstone. I think there's at least 4 or 5 super volcanoes.
So the last one we know of was 26,500 years ago.
And what do they say? How often does it go?
Every 17,000 years on average.
And it went 26,000 years ago, so we're overdue.
Well, I want to know where they're getting the numbers from.
Well, I'm assuming it would be based off layered analysis of rock and sedimentary samples, and they can see when the last major eruption happened, and that's when they judge it back and give you a rough estimate.
People can't find their own genders. How are they supposed to find something from 17,000 years ago?
Oh, I'm pretty sure the scientists that study that I haven't got an issue about whether they've got a ding-a-ling or not. So,
Oh man, I'm telling you, this quickly became controversial.
Just wait until the Scientologists get involved.
Yeah. Oh shit, he said it.
Yeah, and there's a whole other story around the Scientology. They could be one of the ends of the world because they're Thetans.
What? Kitty fiddling and getting away with it.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
You know.
Now, I suppose we better get back to the list.
End of the world, the kids rise up and kill them. That'll be a great ending.
The rise.
Damn,
of the,
right?
Yeah.
Jeez, that would be crazy.
Mm.
Okay, so here's another one that it's actually possible. An asteroid impact.
Yeah. That is, it is always a possibility because, what is it? I think at any one time they can only look at about 2 or 3% of the world, of the skies of the world, and keep an eye out for earthbound objects. So it leaves a lot of the sky totally unsupervised, so to speak. And yeah, it is a big possibility, and it's a scary one because it's one that nobody can really prepare for. You know, every prepper on the earth, you know, they say, yeah, well, I'm putting a bunker, 20 feet underground, but when one of those things goes off, it's going to rip the first mile or two of surface to pieces. At least in the immediate area, you know what I mean? And then you got the tidal waves and all that other stuff. It's a scary thing because of the fact that, one, you can't really predict it other than with any kind of time frame, and by the time they say it's a certainty, there's nothing we can do. What do? You can't run and hide somewhere, you go for high ground as if it was a flood. Well, this thing's gonna take the atmosphere and everything, so that's not gonna help.
So in 2011, NASA had mapped more than 90% of objects in space larger than 1 kilometer in diameter, and none of them are likely to hit Earth, but there's still a lot we don't know about smaller objects.
That's what I'm saying. They've only mapped the ones that they can find, and you don't know what's still inbound from the Kuiper Belt or further out,
And here's my question about that. Is it going to be more dangerous at hitting land or landing in the ocean?
I don't honestly think it would make much difference either which way, because even at the speeds that it would be coming and breaking through the atmosphere, one, it's going to burn the atmosphere straight away, and if it hits the water, even if it's in the deepest part of the ocean, the sheer speed, it's going to hit land under the water anyway, and it's still going to be hitting hard surface.
I get that, but then you've got the resistance and surface tension of water. The harder you hit it, the harder it's going to push back.
Yeah. But again, if you've got something the size of Manhattan coming in,
more dangerous. Is it going to be more dangerous and catastrophic hitting water first or land?
I think it's going to be equally as bad. It might hit you. It might hit you differently.
If it hits water, you're going to have tidal waves to start with.
Yeah, and if it hits land, that impact out is going to create tidal waves anyway. So, yes, the tidal waves won't be as severe, or you wouldn't think as severe, but the fact that it's going to smash through the atmosphere at such a velocity, it's going to burn up a good percentage of the Earth's atmosphere, so people aren't going to be able to breathe, and let alone deal with whatever the outcome of the impact is going to create.
Yeah, the aftermath just seems like, regardless of what, it's. I don't think bunkers is going to be the way to do it. I think bunkers is good if there is some sort of
nuclear war, something like that, or small impact.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking like a moon-sized object, something really big, which you just got no hope. But smaller stuff, you've got a much better chance of survival.
Well, number 5 says pandemics.
Yep.
Monkeypox.
That's the new one. That's the new one that's starting out now. The monkeypox is starting to come up all over the place. You go back 150 years, 100 years, whatever it was, that was smallpox. Now you got your monkeypox, and we've had COVID, which is, but you've had
Ebola.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, just from COVID, you've got a glimpse at how unprepared the modern and sophisticated world is from any kind of pandemic, because we went to shit over toilet paper. So when you're talking about something that's serious, like an Ebola or one of those kind of things kicking in, that's potentially catastrophic. Not necessarily world ending, but definitely population ending.
But then you've still got those that are in the know that are making billions and billions of dollars off of it from pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. But we're not talking about that. That's another show again.
Is the pandemic going to really ruin the world as we know it, or is it going to line pockets?
A true pandemic is going to wipe out a lot of the population, and it will, before it settles out, it will line a hell of a lot of pockets, because they'll be able to name their price for anything just to get that off the line. You know.
Oh, look at the AIDS pandemic. That's, what's a true pandemic?
Well, to me, it's like the bubonic plague and things like that, where masses of people are dying. I mean, I know we've just come out of a pandemic, but I don't think it was anywhere near as severe as the bubonic plague. But that was mainly because they didn't have antibiotics back then, But it's only going to be a matter of time before some superbug that's going to be antibiotic resistant comes out, and we're going to be back to those ages.
Yeah. Over here, there are antibiotic resistant bacteria are responsible for an estimated 700,000 annual deaths.
Yep.
And by the year 2050, it is said that there is an estimated to reach 10 million.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that is
pandemics is actually something that we should be concerned about.
Like I said, pandemics I wouldn't say is a world-ending thing. I would say it's a population-ending thing. Slightly different terminology, but yeah.
Just let your kids eat dirt and be kids like they used to be and have an immune system.
Yeah. To a
That
point.
helps.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a solution, but it helps.
Well, if you've got if you've got a better defense system within your body, you can certainly fight things off a bit longer than somebody who doesn't. I mean, I remember a lot of these old shows about people who are germaphobes and they live in a totally sterile environment. They're actually doing more damage to themselves than they are. They think they're keeping themselves safe, but then the slightest little thing can affect them 10 times worse than somebody who's out there eating dirt and, running around and throwing mud pies and stuff, because they're getting a certain level of resistance, which is, I mean, I would throw mud pies, but
I don't know. I don't know how many puddles and garden hoses I drank out of.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, we all did that.
Likewise. All right, so moving on to number 4, ecological collapse. Wouldn't this fall under, all the conspiracy of global warming and climate change?
Well, it could fall under several different things,
really.
But I don't know if it would be climate change.
What I've noticed with the last 4 or 5 or 6 topics, that's just subtopics of people. People are going to be the reason why the world ends as we know it.
I did say before we
apart from natural disaster, people
for sure. All of these would be man-made. One way or another, it would be man-made.
Yeah.
I mean, even as far as pandemics are concerned, people messing around with things they shouldn't.
Yep.
Supposedly COVID was bioengineered.
What's that?
So supposedly COVID was bioengineered.
COVID is a natural thing, but it has been manipulated to the point where so man was involved in that. Yeah,
and then apparently there were different variants. So because it mutated, some got stronger.
Well, your common flu is COVID. It's a COVID virus.
So I wonder who went into the lab one day and be like, "Oops, so this happened."
What's that Stephen King thing? The Stand.
That's another episode completely from there, though.
Yep.
People can get into that big time.
Yep. Stick to the list. we get distracted, so you need to stick to the list.
So
number 3.
Oh, we're down to 3 already. Wow.
With that.
There you go. Number 3, catastrophic climate change.
Will you stop bringing up climate change? That's boring. Go to the next one.
It's not me, man. It's not me. It's this. You know what? The list that I saw a couple of years back on YouTube, it was an actual video. They had a very, very much more interesting list. I know the first one was the meteor strike. The second one was a volcano. Third one was AI. The fourth one was actual zombies. Fifth one was aliens. So it was a better list. I mean, there was 10 of them, but
We've
I mean, we're on number 3.
We've already had an episode that's ruled out zombie.
Yeah. So this list is pretty much like 4 of them has something to do with climate change.
Climate change is man-made and not real.
All right.
Like when they go around and go, projections of the Earth's effects of climate change depending on how much the Earth warms, usually modeled on an increase of 1 to 3 degrees. I'm sorry, but come and live where we are, and you tell us how much the world changed with 10 degrees difference.
Mm-hmm.
If the ice melts, the water level still stays the same.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because I live close to the ocean. Jeremy's not far from the ocean.
You get a cup of water, you throw a heap of ice in it and let it melt. You tell me how much it rises. It doesn't, because the volume of the ice that is in there substitutes for when it melts and it stays at the same level.
What you got to remember as well is at the last ice age and things like that, when everything froze, it all melted, and they said before the last ice age there weren't really poles as such. It was just all, so it's always going to be constant. That's where some of these stories about there's a land underneath Antarctica, 2 miles underneath Antarctica. I said, well, there's no, for that to be 2 miles under the ice, that means the ice has formed 2 miles thick on top of that, which means the water levels have risen that far, and I don't see that. I don't see it.
You get a 2-gallon bucket. You put a gallon of water and a gallon of ice. That ice melts, you're still going to have the same content in there.
Let me break this down to you, right? Let me break this down into simple terms.
Break it down.
All the moisture in the earth is just based from the ice, right? The ice melts, it goes to the oceans evaporate into the clouds. It's just a continually cycling thing. So the levels are never going to change because yes, it freezes and then it melts and the water levels go and then it gets risen up and then it comes back down as rain and it refreezes. It's just a cyclical thing. So it's never gonna. Yeah.
It is a circle.
It's a circle.
No beginning and no end.
Yeah, cyclical.
All right.
That's my fancy word for the night.
I'm just quoting Chuck and Larry. It is a ring around circle.
Yeah.
This is what I deal with, you guys. This is what I deal with every Friday morning. It's great.
You're complaining?
Should we put the
I ain't complaining.
Should we put the bloopers on at the end of this one?
Or whatever. I've got a video of me looking at you in the eyes from another microphone wearing pineapple shorts. We're good.
That was ridiculously close. That was all. And I keep saying I'm going to put that up, and you say no.
Look, if I had a sneeze, Gary would have got a headbutt.
Yes.
Oh man, that's great.
So Fernando, I can see this next one happening 110%.
All right, go on. What's the next one?
The next 2 is definitely possible, which is I'm just gonna say both of them. The second one, the next one is biological and chemical warfare, and the first one is nuclear warfare.
But that'll still fall under chemical warfare anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I said both of them. But yeah, that is definitely possible.
Yeah,
especially with everything that's going on now.
Definitely. Yeah.
But this would actually happen more sooner than the rest as far as later.
How do you know?
The volcano. The volcano is.
How do you know an asteroid isn't already coming straight towards us? Just because the governments haven't said anything, 1, it might mean they don't know, or 2, they're keeping quiet because they don't want a mass hysteria because there's nothing you can do about it anyway.
Oh, you mean like
I always had an issue with that.
Okay, go on.
Here we go, Fernando rants.
How messed up is that? That the government, knowing something is gonna just end our lives, let's keep on the hush hush.
All right.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah, go on.
So they keep it from you, so there's not mass hysteria. They release that information, there's mass hysteria, and then it doesn't happen. Then what?
Yeah.
They can't predict the weather correctly. Why would they let the information out?
Yeah.
Let's take aside the meteor then.
Okay.
They do that.
Your wife has a positive pregnancy test. You go out and blurt it out to everyone, and then it doesn't happen.
The world doesn't end, obviously, in that, but your end might.
Well, it could.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Something about that rubs me the wrong way. Because let's say if it is something for sure, they'll still do it. Like literally, we could see the meteor coming. Let's put the meteor back. We see it coming, but there's no warning. There's no warning.
Roswell. What if they turned around and said, "Yep, it was aliens straight up"?
I'll be fucking happy. Oh, I swore again.
No. Yes, I did it.
Yeah, you did it.
I'm gonna bleep that out so it doesn't.
Stupid.
Shazen. Oh, yeah. I would be very happy if they did come out and acknowledge that.
But you would be better. I mean, at the start, if they had to turn around and said, "Yes, it was aliens," how would people react?
I mean, yeah, you're still gonna have a
gotta
bunch of
contain it.
dumbasses going crazy about it, but at the same time, I am saying, like, if there is something that is, life-threatening, I would like to be warned.
Who's to
Regardless
say
of what it is.
who's to say that they didn't know about 9/11? Unfortunately, when they see it with the government,
They did. They
Takes
did.
them down.
There's actual documentation that they got a credible threat that there was going to be a terrorist attack against the World Trade Center, but they didn't know what it was, so they didn't pay any attention to it, and that was about 3 or 4 days before it actually happened.
and you think about the whole population of the US, what's a couple thousand lives compared to the whole population? They do things for the greater good.
Yeah, acceptable risk or acceptable casualties,
Yeah,
whatever
that's what I
their
think.
word is. Yeah,
It's a formula they have.
yep. They'll let 10% go to save the 90%. Goes back to Captain Kirk and Spock.
Well, not even that. If your fingers have gangrene, are you going to cut your whole arm off, or are you just going to cut your fingers off?
My dad lost a finger to gangrene.
Oh, I didn't mean it personally.
Well, he did, but I mean, no, it's not certainly not personal. But he only lost one finger because they did talk about amputating the hand. It was like no, and it's like Mum. They actually said to Mum they might have to amputate her foot, and she said, "Like hell, are you doing that?" And it's all sort of pretty much under. I mean, it's still bad, but it's under check now, and it's sometimes they'll bite off more than they can chew just to save face. And it doesn't need to happen like that. Not every time, anyway. It's a numbers game. Why are we going to spend a whole lot of time and effort on you when we can just go slice, done, move on to the next?
And then you got population control on that as well.
Yeah. Why try to save every person on Earth when we can forget about you lot and guarantee we're going to save you lot over there? You know what I mean? And it sucks if you're one of the people in the on the other side, but it's not a job I would want to do numbers like that. But that's probably why they say, well, what's the point in telling everybody, because there's not really anything you can do.
Nobody listens anyway.
There is that as well. Nobody believes the government anyway. Not in this day and age. I don't. And as you saw for a couple of episodes back, can you trust your government and your officials? Because we don't.
No, because they look after their own pockets.
Yep.
For sure.
And how much power do they actually
sure.
have when we talk about the New World Order and the secret cabal of,
See, that's one thing that's always got me. It's a whole new world order, and it's supposed to be a one government world.
yeah, one world, yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. Look at all the countries that have massive armies. You reckon China, America, and Russia are gonna let that happen?
But don't you think a lot of that's already pre-manufactured?
But what army? What are they going to fight? There's
What's-
only one thing they're going to
what's-
fight, and that's the civilians.
Yeah. What's the one thing guaranteed of bringing money in? War always makes dollars.
100%.
Always. So there's always somebody
Yeah,
manufacturing these conflicts.
Well, it's like what you said when I was talking about the oh, what was it? The Jez. What are they called? The people, the sub people are Jewish people. There's another group, the Jez or something, so whatever they are. I can't remember.
Jesuit?
Yes. Apparently they were behind World War One and World War Two.
Yeah.
They were also behind the Titanic and the sinking of it.
Actually, speaking about the Jesuits, there's a TV show out called 0 Hour. I fully recommend, if you haven't seen it, get hold of that. It's a conspiracy about clocks, but
I'm not blaming them for those things.
No,
It's just
no,
there's
but
a lot of evidence to show that they are behind World War One, World War Two, and the Titanic.
And that's the whole thing about this show. I mean, they gave it some kind of credible kind of consciousness, and there's a reason behind it all. But yeah, a lot of it is manufactured for a specific reason, and the Jesuits and the Rosicrucians were all sort of involved in a lot of this stuff, and it's interesting stuff, and that it could very potentially have caused a mass extinction war type scenario. And who's not to say that they aren't behind certain world events happening at the moment?
Well, they're very rarely heard of.
Yeah, I know. And this is when we did the shows on secret societies and things like that, we talk about the secret societies that everybody knows that they're not really doing a very good job of being a secret society. It's those secret societies that we don't know about which are doing the good job of being a secret society. And because we don't know who they are or what they're about, what do we know? What are they getting involved with, and what are they planning, and how far does their reach go? I know we're not talking about secret societies, but they could have a hand in it.
Yearly wage, and I'll let you know about my secret society.
I created my own secret society.
It's not a secret now, is it?
Well, it is, because nobody knows what it is or what it's about or who's in it. It's a bit of a social experiment that I started, and it's ongoing, so I'm not going to say any more than that, but in 12 months' time, I'm going to see where we're at. There's actually, funny enough, and I'm not mentioning names or getting involved with anything, but there is increasing traffic looking at what's going on around this little thing that I put out there. And I said to Fernando and I said to Jeremy when I started this social experiment up to see what happens with it, I said, I'm not going to advertise it, I'm not going to do anything, and see if it builds by itself. And it is, I mean, it's still low numbers, but it is constant. There's interactions at least 3 or 4 times a week, and it's growing and it's growing. So it's interesting to watch. And like I said, these
about porn.
You said it. You're not supposed to say it with the P word. And with the C, you're supposed to say it with the C.
All right.
All right.
They're speaking some weird language.
This episode is done. It's scrapped.
It is.
It
is. We're already over as well. We're like 10 minutes over, so it is time to go.
Oh man.
But yeah, in the comments, let us know how you think the world's going to end. That'll be interesting. See if there's any that aren't on our list, and we can talk about them later on.
And now there's going to be a comment section full of your mama so fat jokes.
Oh God. What the hell was that? I don't know what's going on with Fernando. There's some weird noises happening over there.
Laughing into his hand.
Yeah. Oh no.
I was trying to cover it and it just came out through my nose.
I saw that in the video.
Oh my god.
At least it didn't pop out your ears. So that would have been...
Oh my god.
Anyway,
right, well,
don't forget
those were the top 10 ways life was going to cease to exist. And it was a fun one. But unfortunately a lot of this crap, it was a lot of, 5 out of the 10 was global warming or something to do with weather.
Yeah, not bothered about that. But anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment on our videos and let us know what we can do better.
What you want to hear.
And I don't know whether I'm going to put the bloopers on the end of this video or if I'm going to do a separate little video. I think
it might be worthy of a separate video because we just got a good snort, slap hand, slap laugh from Fernando.
Oh, we got...
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I wasn't the only one. I wasn't the only one. Somebody over. Nope.
Hey, bugger off!
There you go. There you go.
Do you know what we should do, Fernando?
What?
We'll give it a period of 6 months, see how many times we can get him to slip up with it, and we'll make a monologue and a reel of Gary just swearing at us.
It'll be like Homer Simpson go, dope, dope, dope. Me going, that's not fair.
That's yeah.
I'm not liking the way you two are thinking. No, I'm not on board with that.
Because I did it, Dan.
On that, it is time to go. So, do you want to say your farewells, fellas? I just realised I can't hit the button. I can't hit the button when I'm doing this. See ya.